The lost Amazon empire, they told us, it never existed. For centuries, the rainforests of Central and South America were viewed by the Western world as a green desert, a vast, impenetrable wilderness that had never been touched by the hand of civilization. We were taught in school that the soil was too poor to support large populations, and that the heat was too oppressive for an empire to thrive. We believed that until the arrival of Europeans, the Amazon and the surrounding jungles were home only to small nomadic tribes living in harmony with nature. But in the last decade, a revolution in technology has revealed a chilling truth. We were wrong. Beneath the thick canopy of the Honduran and Brazilian jungles lies the ghost of a civilization so massive and so advanced that it challenges everything we thought we knew about human history. This is the mystery of the lost city of the monkey god and the hidden empires of the Amazon. The legend of the White City, or La Ciudad Blanca, has haunted explorers since the days of Hernan Cortes. Indigenous tales spoke of a magnificent city hidden deep in the Mosquitia Mountains of Honduras, a place of white stone, incredible wealth, and a central temple dedicated to a giant simian deity. For 500 years, dozens of explorers disappeared into the jungle trying to find it. They were beaten back by malaria, venomous snakes, and a forest so dense that you could be standing 5 feet away from a stone wall and never see it. The jungle didn't just hide the city, it swallowed it whole. Everything changed in 2012 with the arrival of LiDAR technology, light detection and ranging. By flying a plane over the jungle and firing billions of laser pulses at the ground, scientists were able to strip away the trees digitally. What they saw on their monitors was impossible. They didn't find just a few huts. They found an entire urban landscape. There were sprawling plazas, massive earthen pyramids, sophisticated irrigation canals, and terraced farming fields that stretched for miles. This wasn't a small settlement. It was a regional power that had thrived for centuries in a place where we thought life was impossible. But the mystery only deepened when archaeologists finally hacked their way into the site on foot. They found a cache of over 50 stone sculptures at the base of a pyramid, perfectly preserved and untouched since the day they were left there. The artifacts weren't Mayan or Aztec. They belonged to a completely new and unknown culture that flourished between 1000 and 1400 AD. The most haunting find was a Ur-jaguar effigy, a terrifying stone carving that seemed to guard the city's secrets. This discovery in Honduras was just the tip of the iceberg. Further south, in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, researchers using the same LiDAR technology have found evidence of garden cities. They found a grid of perfectly straight roads, some 60 feet wide, connecting dozens of towns in the Xingu region. They discovered terra preta, an engineered, man-made super soil created by ancient farmers that allowed them to grow enough food to support millions of people. Estimates for the population of the Amazon have skyrocketed from a few 100,000 to over 10 million people. Beyond the urban centers, the sophistication of their engineering suggests a society that viewed the rainforest not as an obstacle, but as a canvas. These ancient people built immense fish weirs and artificial ponds to farm protein, effectively domesticating the aquatic life of the river basin. They constructed enormous raised causeways that remained dry even during the most punishing flood seasons. allowing trade and communication to flourish year-round across hundreds of miles of swampy terrain. This was a logistical network that would have rivaled the Roman roads, tailored perfectly for a world of water and wood. The mystery of their spiritual life is equally compelling, manifesting in the geoglyphs of Acre, Brazil. These are massive geometric earthworks, perfect circles, squares, and octagons carved into the ground on a scale that can only be appreciated from above. Since these people had no aircraft, the geoglyphs were likely built for the eyes of the gods, or as part of complex ritual processions that defined their social order. These shapes prove a deep mastery of geometry and a desire to impose a sacred mathematical harmony upon the chaotic growth of the jungle. Furthermore, the terra preta they left behind is perhaps the greatest biological legacy of any ancient culture. Unlike the slash and burn techniques we use today, which deplete the soil in just a few years, these ancient farmers created a self-regenerating, living soil that stays fertile for centuries. Modern scientists are still trying to unlock the exact recipe of charcoal, bone, and microorganisms used to create it. It suggests that these empires weren't just exploiting their environment. They were actively engineering a more productive and resilient ecosystem, a concept we are only now beginning to call sustainability. If these empires were so large and so successful, where did they go? Why did they vanish so completely that the forest was able to erase them from memory? The answer is as tragic as it is simple. It wasn't war or environmental collapse that destroyed the people of the monkey god. It was invisible invaders. When the first Europeans arrived on the coasts of the Americas, they brought with them diseases like smallpox and measles. These pathogens traveled faster than any explorer, moving inland along trade routes. It is estimated that 90% of the indigenous population died before they ever laid eyes on a white man. The collapse was so rapid and so total that it left a vacuum of power and knowledge. Within a single generation, the massive plazas were overtaken by vines, the irrigation canals filled with silt. The great wooden houses rotted away. By the time 17th century explorers ventured into the deep jungle, they saw only wilderness, never realizing they were walking over the graves of millions and the ruins of a global superpower. The jungle, the fastest growing biological engine on Earth, acted as a witness protection program for a civilization that had been systematically erased by a biological apocalypse. This revelation forces us to rethink the very definition of nature. Much of what we have protected as pristine or virgin rainforest for the last century is actually overgrown farmland and abandoned city parks. The Amazon we see today is a post-apocalyptic landscape, a massive graveyard that has finally reached its ecological equilibrium after the death of its human architects. We are not looking at a world that was never touched. We are looking at a world that is still recovering from the loss of its masters. Ultimately, the ghost empires of the Amazon challenge our modern arrogance. We assume that progress is a straight line, and that we are the first to truly master the planet's harshest environments. Yet, 800 years ago, millions of people lived in the heart of the green desert without destroying it, building a world that was both high-tech and high-nature. They prove that a civilization's greatness isn't measured by the stones it leaves behind, but by the harmony it creates with the land, even if that land eventually eats the evidence of its existence. Today, these discoveries serve as a profound warning and a testament to human resilience. They prove that our ancestors were far more capable and interconnected than we ever gave them credit for. The Amazon was not a pristine wilderness. It was a carefully managed, high-tech landscape. As we continue to scan the globe with our lasers and satellites, we are realizing that the map of the world is still half blank. We are just now beginning to listen to the whispers of the civilizations that the jungle tried to keep for itself. The city of the monkey god is no longer a myth. It is a mirror, reflecting a lost chapter of our story that was almost deleted forever.